Oh, right? Okay, cool. Guys, welcome back to the test kitchen above Flour and Water. Today, we're gonna be cooking pasta pomodoro with our spaghetti. It's one of my favorite classic recipes, and it's born out of simplicity. First things first, as we always do, we have 4 quarts of water at a rolling boil. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of salt to that, and then get going on our sauce. It's a really quick 15-20 minute pasta sauce based off of both fresh and crushed canned tomatoes. And so to start that sauce, we're just gonna simply dice half a red onion. So just do a quick small dice, or what they call a brunoise. So we have our pan preheating. We're just gonna add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So the idea is to sweat these red onions out. We don't want to caramelize. We don't want to add any dark flavors to the pot. We just want to simply sweat the onions out. Add a small amount of salt. This salt helps draw out the moisture, which helps it not brown. In my opinion, pasta pomodoro, you cannot put enough garlic or you cannot put enough basil in the recipe. So we're going to start with a ton of garlic here, and we're just going to give this a nice shave on it. As soon as the onions start to become translucent, we can add our garlic. Again, the goal is not to color the garlic, just to sweat it through. Quick little tip, the more that you cook garlic, the less harsh the flavor is going to be. And so I want a strong, kind of pungent garlic flavor to cut through these tomatoes. And for that, I'm going to cook it for 30 seconds max. Well, that's cooking. It's time to drop our pasta. So I'll just grab a rough pound here. It's time to cut our cherry tomatoes. So this is just a medley. We can use any cherry tomato. I love the texture of the fresh, kind of blistered cherry tomatoes against the milled canned tomatoes. Also builds a base layer of acidity to the dish. And we're just gonna half these. I think it's really important. We have all those amazing aromas and flavors from the garlic and the onion. I just want to coat that. I want to coat those tomatoes and lightly blister, right? And what helps us do that is we're going to pinch of salt to add. Tomatoes are one ingredient that can stand up to a fair amount of salt to really have them fully seasoned. But I just want to lightly blister those tomatoes. After the tomatoes have been cooking for a little while, we can add our white wine. And the white wine, again, is to add a deeper layer of acidity through the dish. We want to make sure that we cook off all of that raw alcohol. So the wine's simmering, the alcohol is cooked off, and at this point, we add our crushed tomatoes. I love this recipe because both the freshness and brightness that the cherry tomatoes brings with kind of the umami packed canned tomatoes, to me it's the best of both worlds, and it's a quick sauce, under 15 minutes, spaghetti pomodoro. Cook, cook, cook. So our quick tomato sauce has been simmering for about 5 minutes. The next steps is that we want to pull 1 cup of starchy pasta water, and we're going to add that. Right? A couple of things, it helps stabilize the sauce, brings a little bit more body to it, and then allows us to finish the spaghetti in the sauce itself. Now we can get our basil ready. In my opinion, you cannot add enough basil to pomodoro sauce. It's kind of like a match made in heaven. So we're gonna pick a ton of basil here. I kind of roll it, and it sounds fancy, a chiffonade, but really it's just gonna be a nice, easy cut. The delicate, herbaceous flavor of basil, in my opinion, should be added at the very, very last second, right before we're about to serve. The spaghetti's strained, and we can add that to the pot. One of the biggest practices that we preach here at the restaurant is finishing the noodle in the sauce itself. We spent so much time and effort to put this amazing texture on the outside of the spaghetti. That texture is there for this sauce to cling to it. We want to add just great olive oil. Again, this will help kind of emulsify into the sauce, bring a lot of peppery notes to it. We're going to season with salt. I forgot the pepper mill. And then, in my opinion, just like the basil, pasta pomodoro calls for a ton of cracked black pepper. I love the spiciness that black pepper will bring against the tomatoes. And then this whole mountain of basil, I want to add to the pot. Right at the last second. I want to keep that basil fresh and alive. I'm going to give it one final stir, and this pasta is ready to plate. Boom, boom, boom. To me, this classic spaghetti and finishing in the pan where it has all that tomato sauce that's clinging to the outside of the noodle itself, such a beautiful thing. The perfect backdrop for our flour and water pasta. And in my opinion, most pastas finish with aged Parmesan Reggiano. Super fast, super easy Pomodoro sauce for our flour and water spaghetti.